Yeah, exciting opportunity for our guys, our fan base, our university. Grateful for our administration. Anytime you're playing football this late in the year, it's a good thing. Really quality Army team. We're going on the road to play against. A lot of respect for Coach Monken and his staff and that program, what it stands for. But we're thrilled to still be playing football and to be in this conference championship game means a lot to our program and our university and. We're hard at work trying to get ready for a big challenge at Army, and excited to be in this situation. So with that, we'll open it up.
Okay, we'll go to questions, please. Again, use the raise hand feature in the Zoom, and we'll start with Seth Mendelson, please. Seth, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. Seth Mendelson from BlackKnightNation.com. Weather's supposed to be pretty cold on Friday night, probably high 20s, low 30s. I don't think Tulane has played in that kind of weather this year or in recent years. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's weather. It could be hot. It could be cold. It could be whatever. You just got to go play football. I'm not. I haven't spent a whole lot of time. I know it's gonna be cold, uh, but football game. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold. Go play.
Okay. My follow-up question, my last question is Army's option offense. Of course, you played against Navy, similar offense, but a little bit different. Um, how do you practice that during the week?
And that's a challenge to replicate what they do with the speed and the physicality. I would say it's impossible to be quite honest with you. I think it's a handful. You do the best you can within the week, but what they do schematically is unique. They're really good at it. They're very detailed with it. Their players, the timing, the rhythm of which they do things, the eye discipline you have to play with on defense. It is a legit preparation issue. I mean, it's hard to get ready for, and physically, these guys play the game a little differently. Like, this quarterback, man, he's a freaking warrior. I got a lot of respect for Bryson Daly. He throws the ball really efficiently. You could see that last week in their game against UTSA, but he plays the linebacker mindset, and he's the kind of guy you'd love to have on your team. I mean, just got a lot of respect for what he does and how they play, and but the preparation component is a real challenge. I mean, you can't fully simulate, with your look team the speed at which they do the things they're doing, and it's a challenge for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Okay, we'll go to Gary Smith for the next one, please.
Yeah, you mentioned Bryson Daly. I think UTSA probably did everything they wanted to do on first and second down to beat Army on Saturday, and they still couldn't get it done. And he made some incredible throws in that game. How much? Obviously, that's not their bread and butter, but how much of a challenge does that make it when you know that he's capable of doing that?
Yeah, I mean, when they're converting those pass plays like they did last week, it's very difficult to stop them. We're different schematically than them, but we're similar in regards to we want to run the ball and take play action shots. That's what they're doing. They're maybe doing a little bit different style run game, but it's a run game with taking shots off the run game. And then in the third down throws he made last week, you get one on one, and the guys went up and won the ball. He made nice throws, and they really, I think they throw the ball more efficiently than people recognize. And he's doing a nice job getting the ball to the right people in the right time. So when they're throwing it like they did last week, it's a handful for sure.
And obviously, a tough loss to Memphis on Thursday, but I assume you're not having a hard time getting the guys up for a championship game. Just what are the conversations been like just to make sure they rebound?
Yeah, Friday was their day off. Saturday we came back and kind of got that game out fully. I voiced to them on our meeting that was Sunday, which is really, I guess yesterday. I've just talked to them about, man, there's 9 FBS conference championship games. All right, that means there's 18 teams playing in a conference championship game this weekend. This opportunity is special. It does not come around. There's 14 teams in our league, and 2 of us get to play this game. And our guys earned that opportunity. We got one conference loss. It happened to be at a critical time against a really good team. And unfortunate, disappointed in that. Have no control over it now. You can't let one become two. And we've got to focus in. If we're not prepared to go play a really good game in this environment, in this setting, against this team with what's at stake, then we got a problem. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult to get ready to go play against this team that's very, very good in Army.
You mentioned how tough it is to prepare for a team like Army. What's the benefit of having 2 extra days than you would? It could have been a short week if you'd have played on Saturday to make the turnaround for Friday.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it. I'll take another couple days if they want to give them to us. Like we can play on Sunday if they want to, and I might take a couple more days to get ready for it. It's a lot of work. It is. I mean, and really, it's not what we know. It's what our players can know. There won't be any coaches like line up and playing a formation on or a blocking scheme on Friday night. So it's what can we get taught to our guys and execute at a really high level. And then it comes down to playing good fundamental football. You got to get off the blocks, you got to make tackles, and then you got to cover the guys when they're throwing it. And so the fundamentals in the game, I think probably you can't overstate how important it is playing with good technique and fundamentals, regardless of the schematics.
And then obviously, Army and Navy aren't exactly the same. And you mentioned Bryson Daly is a total different body type. But what other differences do you see in the way Army runs their version than what Navy does?
Yeah, some more condensed sets, some more squeeze sets. Maybe the style of the offense is a little different, and the style of the players are a little different. Like this group is really big and really physical and really strong, and they move piles. Like you see them over and over and over. A 3-yard game becomes a 7-yard game, and so there's some different schematics to them. It's not the exact same. I mean, there's some normal 3-back option elements that they both carry, but there's some differences for sure.
Thank you.
We'll take the next one from Ken Kreitzer, please. Ken, go right ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Coach. Just looking at your record, you had the 2 losses early in the year to Kansas State and Oklahoma, 2 Power 4 teams, and then you had 8 straight wins, culminating in a 35-0 win over Navy. What did you learn early season that really helped you go on that very strong streak of wins?
That's a great question, Ken. I got here a year ago and there was a ton of roster turnover. I mean, a ton. Like, it's kind of one of those deals you walk in the room and into an abandoned house and you turn the light switch on, there's cockroaches running everywhere. Like, that's sort of what it felt like. There was like players going here and players going there and players going everywhere. And then there were some guys that stayed, Josh Rimitich, Rashad Green, Mekhi Hughes, some proven Alex Bauman, some proven guys that stayed defensively, Pat Jenkins and Tyler Grubbs, Slim Despaney, some core pieces that said, you know what, this is our program, and it's their program. This is a players program. It's got nothing to do with the coaches. It's a players program. Everything we do is players first. And those guys that stayed made the transition easier, but you still have so many new pieces that get added. Game 1, we had 5 defensive starters that started in game 1 that showed up here on Memorial Day. All right, so like late May. And so for the first month of the season, it felt like we were just trying to figure each other out and figure out how to play together, and lean on each other, trust each other, believe in each other. And I think that took a little time. It didn't help that, the schedule early was pretty challenging. You play Kansas State and Oklahoma, and then non-conference play Louisiana Lafayette, who's 10-2. So you played 3 really good teams talent-wise out of the first 4 that are elite teams, I think, at our level. And so, but it took us a little time to kind of get that cohesion, get on the same page, get the chemistry right, get the culture, the buy-in fully where it needed to be. And then I think our guys have played for each other. I think this team's become close-knit. I think in this era where you maybe have transfer portal stuff, getting teams to really have each other's back is a big deal and play for each other. And so I think that was a big turn. I felt it really, Ken. I felt it at Oklahoma. We lost a tough one to Kansas State. And then at Oklahoma, we get down 21-0 before you could blink. And it's like that could go sideways real fast. And then you look up in the fourth quarter, and we have the ball twice in the fourth quarter, and the score's 24-19. We have the ball twice with an opportunity to go take the lead late in the game. And that's when I started to go, all right, this team, we got a little something in our neck here. Like, we're not going to roll over. And so that was sort of, even through a loss, I felt like the team made a decision like we're going to fight. And so that's kind of when I felt it sort of take a turn, if you will.
Hey, just a quick question. You were in Mikey Stadium last year with your prior school and achieved a 19 to nothing shutout win. What do you take away from that experience? That what you learned about the Army program from that helped you this week?
Well, I've always had a ton of respect for West Point. The academies as a whole, I have a lot of respect for the way they run their program, the type of young men they recruit. Man, tough blue collar dudes that would fit our program. To be quite honest, I mean it's how we recruit. We look for tough guys that love football, and man, the history there. I mean, it just oozes history. You know what I mean? Like you pull on that campus, and it like I've played in every SEC stadium or coached in every SEC stadium, and it just gives you a little. There's a little juice about what that place is. The setting's beautiful. I've said I know it's not going to be the locker room location this year because of the construction, but the unique locker room entry right there from the sideline. The cadets were right behind us last year. Just it's a lot. The pageantry of college football is one of the things that makes it great. I think playing at West Point, you can feel the historical, components there for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Speaking two more if we can, we'll go with Steve Helwick, please.
Hi, Coach. You were just talking about some of the veterans on your team that have won the AAC title, Cotton Bowl before, guys like Patrick Jenkins and Rashad Green. What is a combination of their experience in championship games and your experience in Sun Belt championship games? How do you kind of combine that heading into this matchup with Army?
Yeah, I mean, it individually there might be some carryover. Like I know how to do the schedule better because I've been in this setting, and those guys maybe have played in big games, but it's got nothing to do with this game. We got enough of our guys that haven't been in this environment. The majority of our team hasn't done this. Majority of our team hasn't won a conference championship. I mean, we played in it here last year, didn't win it, and so. But there's some carryover, maybe at least knowing what that moment is like and being prepared mentally to be focused on what helps you win the game. It's still, like I said, it's blocking, tackling, it's catching, throwing, it's leveraging the football, it's playing with good eyes, but experience is always a good thing to have on your side, and those guys definitely have some of it, and so it's nice to have some guys that have been in those moments for sure.
Take the last one from Joe Lonergan, please.
Hey, Coach. Army safeties have had a pretty strong year, particularly kind of defending in the red zone. What kind of challenge does that present for you? And obviously, Darian's had a great year, but just his POV as a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, those two guys, man, 20 and 6 flash a lot. Like I feel like they both played against us last year. I remember 6. I feel like 6 has been there for like 9 years. Like I don't think you're allowed to redshirt at one of the academies. And I know they go to prep school sometimes, but that Max kid, number 6, I think he's been there for like forever. They're really good. They erase a lot of things. They tackle the ball really well. They're physical. They're smart. They're tough. You can tell they know how to set the table defensively for Coach Woody and what they do schematically. They do a lot of good stuff schematically. Those guys are really good football players. A lot of respect for how they play. And just those guys set the table. I mean, they're big time experienced players that I think play at a high level. And it'll be a challenge for Darian. They've been a tough defense against everybody they've played. Darian's had a good year. He's done some really good things. He's still a young player. He's just scratching the surface, I think, of how good he can become. But this defense does present a lot of challenges, and those safeties are really good football players.